What's good? What's good? We back. Triple P, Paul Pickett podcast. Got my caffeine. Got my new little t-shirt. Check it out. Money never sleeps. I sleep, fortunately, but money never sleeps. Before I get started, hit that subscribe button if you're on YouTube in that bottom right hand corner. For the first time, I'm also streaming live on my TikTok account. And this video also will be pre-recorded for YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and other platforms as well. And pretty soon in the near future, we'll start going live um, all the time and whatnot. So once again, hit that subscribe button in that right-hand corner if you're on YouTube, Facebook, hit that like, Instagram follow. Also check out the podcast, the audio version on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Deezer, Slacker, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and so on. Google Paul Pickett Podcast. You see it in the background. Paul Pickett Podcast. First, I'm going to get in some NFL. We got Alex Smith got released from the Washington Redskins, which, of course, we knew that was going to happen because, Alex Smith did come out recently and say he felt like Washington didn't even want him to be there. Like they felt like he was a burden and whatnot. Like I don't know if a lot of people know, but Alex Smith had a leg injury that he had to get. I could be wrong, but I want to say like 16 surgeries on his leg. I know it's a lot. It's a lot. I want to say it's like 12 to 16 surgeries on his leg. He almost lost his leg. And they say he almost died too. And it's like the comeback story of the century for sports. It's like, like very gruesome injury. Some dudes don't never come. Bo Jackson never really came back from his injuries, And so the Redskins have moved on from him. I don't know who they're going with. Does Alex Smith land somewhere? As a starter or backup, maybe I'm thinking. I'm almost thinking if Carolina can't get Deshaun Watson, and since there's rumors that the 49ers are already talking about going after Bridgewater, I don't know as a backup or what, because he's been injury prone. Like Alex Smith and the Panthers might make sense for right now, just for 1 year. And of course, maybe the Patriots. Alex Smith was 5-1 last year. He had a decent year. Maybe the Patriots. I don't know. We'll see. But he might get a landing spot. And that I'm pretty sure he wants to continue playing it. He would have came back if he didn't. J.J. Watt to the Arizona Cardinals. Nobody saw that coming. You know what's crazy? Somebody should have saw it coming because of the Hopkins tweet like a month back where he said, "Let's finish what we started." I think everybody just downplayed it, overlooked it, didn't really put any life into it, didn't even really think it was really an option. And maybe that's because a lot of people thought he wanted to go to a team that was more in a win now situation, but that wasn't really the case. He wanted guaranteed money and a team that was pretty decent, it seems like. I mean, Arizona's, to come up, Kyler Murray is about to be, a year older. He's already been in the league 2 years. That's it, Him and DeAndre Hopkins got it down packed more. They could use a better running game, whatnot. They needed to beef up the defense, But yeah, like a more experienced Kyler Murray. We'll see what happens, man. But JJ Watt, Arizona, 15, what's he get? 15 half a million a year, 2-year deal. Definitely about guaranteed money and going to a decent squad. You know what I'm saying? The Bears going with Foles. I'm about to talk. I gotta put this paper down for a second. I gotta sip my caffeine. I gotta talk about this for a minute. The very first team that I was ever a fan of was the 1985 Bears of any sport. Any sport. 1985 Bears. I mean, I didn't know dominance like the 1985 Bears. As long as I've been living, about to be 42, I have never known the Bears to have a elite quarterback. I don't even know that I could say they had a legit Pro Bowl quarterback. They might have had a quarterback make the Pro Bowl, but I said legit Pro Bowl quarterback. Like they've never had a legit quarterback, a legit Pro Bowl quarterback. Never, man. Never. I mean, I can't even name half the guys they've had. Like I think they had Donovan McNabb or the later tail of his career. It might have been the best quarterback to ever wear a Bears jersey. But it was the later, we needed him like when he was with the Eagles and going to the Super Bowl. Like we've never had a legit quarterback at the Bears. The Bears. I mean, like Jim McMahon, I mean, he wasn't come on, man. He was like Trent Dilfer and Brad Johnson for the Bucks. I mean, that's the category he's in. He's like in the category of like worst quarterbacks to win a Super Bowl. He's in that category. I mean, the Bears, man, come on, man. Y'all got to try to get a legit quarterback. I mean, y'all passed up Deshaun Watson for Mitchell Trubisky. I mean, I'm a Tar Heel fan, but I've never, when it comes to Tar Heel football, quarterbacks, I mean, come on, man. We talking about defensive players, maybe LT, defensive player. But come on, man. Quarterbacks from why? I mean, why would you take a Tar Heel quarterback that didn't really do nothing, carry his team nowhere, over a guy who won a college championship? I don't get this, man. What else we got? Football. Let me flip over. We got look out for Stephon Gilmore, Odell Beckham, and Von Miller to possibly be traded. I'm sure a lot of teams could use Stephon Gilmore. He's past his prime, but his experience, leadership, it definitely could help a contender, especially one who needs a cornerback. Odell Beckham. I'm hearing a lot of talks about that because they say the Browns were better without him, and yeah, we don't need Odell coming back and Baker having to worry about keeping Odell happy. That's the thing about the NFL. Like, look how the Bucks won their championship. Mike Evans didn't hardly get any catches in the Super Bowl. Chris Godwin didn't hardly get any catches in the Super Bowl. Their top two receivers, they didn't score neither one receiver. No touchdowns. It was old man Rob Gronkowski. It was AB who was almost out the league for life, and it was Leonard Fournette who got cut from Jacksonville and was just drafted number 5. Some few years back. So the top two receivers didn't even, score a touchdown and get no passes, and they were celebrating just as hard as everybody else. And I heard like when they brought in AB, that they were saying, "Hey, if you think it's gonna help us win, we're with it, and we'll make sure he gets some catches. We'll sacrifice." Is Odell willing to sacrifice when he comes back for the greater good? I don't know, man. Some of these guys they all about getting their numbers. They not about the benefit of the team. What really is better for the team? Sacrificing for the team. So I could see Odell get moved, and I could see a few teams going after him. I could see like Russell Wilson in Seattle. Russell Wilson definitely wants him, Aaron Rodgers wants him. Tom Brady wants him. There's some dudes that wants him. You know, I can see a few places. I mean, imagine if he went to Buffalo on the other side of Stephon Diggs. You know, I'm pretty sure Chargers need another receiver. I mean, there's a lot of teams that could use an Odell Beckham. Von Miller. Um, where could I see Von Miller going? I mean, that's another thing. Like, all these guys are guys that they, you know, it's really up to them if they want the money or if they like. Von Miller's already got his championship. He's got his ship. But does he want to win another one? I mean, winners always want to win. Von Miller could definitely go to a team and, you know, help them out, especially if they got cap space. So be on the lookout for that. Last football talk. I think this is my last football talk. Let me see. Yeah, last football talk I want to get into. I didn't know much about him, but Irv Cross, first black sports analyst. He died at 81. When you're the first of anything, I know that's like a monumental thing, especially when you're talking about, you know, African Americans being the first of anything, you know, and the way the racial climate is, and you know, racism is, you know, there's definitely a lot of people out there that are racism that don't, you know, they don't want to hire black people, think they're less educated or think they're just criminals and stuff like that. And that's truly a false narrative. You know, I watch a lot of guys like Dr. Claude Anderson, very well educated man. Dr. Cornel West, very well educated. Neil deGrasse Tyson is one of my favorite guys to watch. Astrophysicist, very, you know, this is, you know, we got to stop putting out this false narrative that any one race is smarter than the other. There's, you know, highly well educated people in both races. You know, there's geniuses in both races, in all races. Well, I'm talking about both races. You know, I guess I say both races because the racial issues are always a black and white thing. You know, it's not. We don't forget it's the human race, the animal race, reptile race, stuff like that. You know, but shouts out to, you know, Irv Cross, who was the first sports analyst when he did his thing, and, you know, rest in peace to him, man. 81 years old. I mean, that's two times my lifetime. I hope to live that long, you know, and just he was the first to really pave the way. Somebody's got to be the first to do something. It doesn't matter if it's race related. You know, somebody's always got to be the first one to do something to break through. You know what I'm saying? Somebody like MySpace was the first, like, really social networking platform that really blew up for other platforms to come through. And MySpace really opened up a lot of doors for me. All right, so let's get into my Hawks fired Lloyd Pierce and are looking for Nate McMillan to be interim coach. Now, Nate McMillan, being a loyal guy that he is, and being that he was an assistant coach to Lloyd Pierce, I'm hearing that he's trying to talk that over with Lloyd Pierce before he just, you know, goes along with it and whatnot. You know, it's just make sure he's cool with it. You just don't want to be disloyal. Let me get some caffeine. Those get a little dry here. Also, you know, take a second to hit that subscribe button in that bottom right hand corner. And if you're on Facebook, hit that like. Instagram, hit that follow. And if you're watching this on TikTok, please hit that follow. You know what I'm saying? We're going to start going live with this podcast, mainly on TikTok first. Won't be able to really interact because it's a podcast. You know what I'm saying? I gotta be in front of the mic, do my thing. But yeah, the Hawks definitely had to fire Lloyd Pierce. There's a lot of people upset about it, but man, the Hawks made a lot of moves in all season. I thought the Hawks made probably the most moves, you know, because they ended up getting Bogdanovich that the Bucks couldn't get because they kind of, you know, hedged their bets a little too early. And then they ended up getting Gallinari, and then they ended up getting Rondo and Chris Dunn. I mean, that's four real good pickups to a young, Atlanta Hawks squad team, and I expected definitely a lot more out of the Atlanta Hawks this year. So they definitely. I think Nate McMillan can get them going in the right direction. Um, I saw a segment, top five to start the NBA franchise right now. And when I get into this, I don't want to we're leaving out all the cats that been in the league like 10 years or more. Like cats that only been in the league like a few years, and some people like start five and move on to number one. I'm gonna start my number one top five to start an NBA franchise today. I'm gonna go with Luka Doncic. Second year in the league, he had his team in the playoffs, and if you know, um, if KP, Porzingis, if Porzingis actually is like healthy, they possibly beat the Clippers because the Clippers folded anyways to the Nuggets 3-1. Like Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis, like we had a healthy Kristaps Porzingis, you definitely could have got to that next round. And they're off to a slow start this year, but they did lose Seth Curry and traded him for I want to say Jason Richardson, not Jason Richardson, but Richardson. But I don't know if it was a good move. They really should have kept Seth Curry. Seth Curry's balling out, but I believe in Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic makes everybody around him better. Number two, Zion Williamson. I mean, Zion Williamson. What can I say, man? When I first started watching Zion, he's probably the first player I've seen hyped up since LeBron. Because nowadays, like you don't need ESPN to hype him up no more. Like the internet does that by themselves. Like he was already probably popping on all his social media followings, like LaMelo and whatnot. Like these dudes come in with popping followings nowadays because they're out there all over YouTube sensations. Zion Williamson, I mean, like I didn't know he was gonna be in college. I knew he was. I was excited to see he was gonna be in college because his athletic ability. He dominated in a way in college that he didn't dominate in high school. I mean, in high school he was like bringing up the ball, just you just really seen a lot of dunks, and that's really it. In college, it was like offensive rebounding, putbacks, dunks, very efficient, dominant, down low basketball, like Charles Barkley ish, early Kevin Love alike, all the offensive rebounds, just the high rebounding numbers. Then he went to the pros, and it's a little different. It's a lot of efficiency, layups, dunks, not so much the rebounding. And now they put him in this facilitate role. I mean, he's just the most efficient player I've seen in a long time. He's just super smart. I've seen, 42, about to be 42 years old. I've seen a lot of dudes come in this league and do things that they shouldn't be doing, like taking shots they should be taking. You know, like what are you doing? Like big men trying to shoot threes. That can't shoot threes. Just see a lot of things I know I shouldn't be seeing in this league and whatnot. He's very efficient. Number three, Nikola Jokic. Jokic. Joker, man. What can I say, man? Big man that can get the offense, get the rebound, take it all the way up, and facilitate. You know what I'm saying? Can pass it off on the fast break, or take it all the way or whatever. My number four is Ja Morant. Um, Young, athletic, smart player. I mean, like he's already had his team competing both years that he's been there. They almost made the playoffs last year. Might could make the playoffs this year. I mean, they're playing real good competitive basketball, a real good young team. Um, Last but not least, well, no, let me get into this. Let me take a break for a second. I gotta check something, see if my food's here, and I'm coming right back. All right, we back. Hit that subscribe button in the right hand corner, bottom right hand corner. Still live on TikTok. I had to see my DoorDash is on the way. You know, I got that Firehouse subs coming on the way. I love my Firehouse subs. It's the bomb. Best subs on the planet, as far as I'm concerned. This dude like Zlatan Ibrahimovic calls out LeBron James about speaking on politics. When I was coming up, man, I didn't really care about politics. I've only voted one time in my life, and it was for Barack Obama. And when I hear a lot of black people who are African Americans who say they didn't feel like he did much for black people. I watched a video the other day where Aries Spears compared him to um, Jackie Robinson. And the more I thought about it, I get where he was going. Like Jackie Robinson was the first African American pro athlete. And being a Tar Heel fan, I do know that Dean Smith was the first white coach in Division One basketball that had the kahunas and didn't care what anybody thought to bring a African American to Division One, Charlie Scott. And I've always thought that as a big deal. It's a big part of why I love Tar Heels basketball. So like Jackie had to be the first to really open up the doors for many. And Dean Smith had to be the first to, bring African American in Division One. So many more could come through, And that's kind of how I guess he was trying to say Brock is. Like Brock had to be that first African American. So when that second guy comes through with a third or fourth, they can get more done. Like the first guy that opens up the door, Jackie Robinson could only do but so much. Jackie Robinson's job was to be the first. And Jackie Robinson, I watched the movie, I don't know how true it is, but Jackie Robinson had to do a lot. Like in the movie, the owner came to him and which was played by Harrison Ford, was like, I want you to, can you be the one to turn your cheek? Can you just endure it? Because if you don't, then you're just going to give them like the ammunition to say, I told you so. Because they always throw this false narrative about African Americans, like they're just all criminals and they're dumb, they're not smart, like they don't have African American geniuses, like there's not scholars that are African American, astrophysicists and all types of well educated, people. You know what I'm saying? This narrative is just it's so false. So like you have to like break through that narrative by showing them the narrative is not true. Because if like Jackie Robinson was to just give in to all these people with their racial slurs, the white man would have won. You know what I'm saying? And I know it's got to be hard to turn the other cheek. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I don't believe in bowing or kneeling to no man. I don't believe in kings or queens. It's got to be a hard thing to do, but somebody has to be the first to endure, to endure this, to break through, to kick down the barriers in the door, So, yeah, man. Like this idea, LeBron should not be speaking on politics. Like anybody who has a voice and has a platform and knows anything about politics can speak on politics. And I guess what I was saying when I was babbling about Obama, me voting for Obama and stuff, is I never really cared about politics, and I care about politics a lot more nowadays. I don't know if it's because of the political climate, Trump being in office, the racial climate, or whatever is going on. You know what I'm saying? I do care a lot more, and if I care a lot more, LeBron is a lot younger than me. He's allowed to care a lot more too. Like everybody's allowed to care a lot more, because I care a lot more about politics nowadays. So this idea that you got a platform and a voice and you can't say what you feel. I've always been Mr. AKA say what I feel. That's always been my thing. I started as a musician originally. First, Mr. Say What I Feel. You know what I'm saying? So yes, speak your voice, say what you feel. If you have a platform to do it, if you don't have a platform, I mean, you're speaking to the choir because nobody's hearing you. But yeah, whoever that soccer player is, like, he comes from a place that doesn't. I don't know what the politics is like over there, but the politics is a lot different over here because you know we've dealt with slavery days, the Jim Crow days. People been fighting for a lot of things in America, And we get into my last subject. I always gotta talk about LaMelo. Jersey on the way. LaMelo and Lonzo. One thing I noticed is Lonzo on Lonzo's trade talk. He's definitely stepped up the game. Plus, he also has to step up the game because little brother's balling out. Little brother's 36-8 in the last 10 games. Little brother, I mean, I haven't heard anybody say anything bad about LaMelo. Nothing bad. And don't get me wrong. I mean, I watched the game the other day, the Heat, Pelicans versus Heat, and Lonzo played a great game. Lonzo's stepping up his game. He has to, because little brother's coming in outshining you. I mean, one thing LeVar got right was 3 times the charm. LaMelo is better. Lonzo could learn a thing or two from LaMelo, as well as LaMelo learned some things or two from older brother. But I tell you what, man, Lonzo got to keep stepping it up, man, because I think by the end of this year, LaMelo probably gonna be averaging like 19 a game. He's like, 15, 6 and 6 a game right now. He'll be at 19 a game. He keeps up this 20 something, 30 point a game barrages. LaMelo is definitely gonna be averaging 19 a game. Um, yeah, I'm definitely excited for Charlotte Hornets basketball. Thank God New Orleans abandoned the Hornets, for the Pelicans. I mean, the Pelicans. Is there even Pelicans in New Orleans? I don't know. I know there's Hornets in Charlotte, though. I know that much. And I know it was never the same when the Hornets left. But yeah, so Melo and Lonzo. Lonzo got to step it up. Little brother's balling out. But Lonzo has definitely been, I have noticed he has been balling out a lot more 20-point games and whatnot. I don't really get into the plus minus all the time, man. I don't even know how that really works. Dudes be having 20 some points and they be talking about 14 minus 14. I don't even get that how you had 20 something points and it's minus 14. But once again, this is Paul Pickett, Triple P, Paul Pickett Podcast. I want to thank you for tuning in. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button in the right hand corner. Facebook, like, Instagram TV, hit that follow. Twitter, hit that follow. Also, check out the audio version of the podcast, which goes to Apple, Spotify, Deezer, Amazon Music, Slacker, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and several other platforms as well. You can Google Paul Pickett Podcast. Be on the lookout for guests on here soon. Start trying to have some guests. I know a few local people that played in like the NFL and overseas and whatnot. So we'll start bringing in on some guests and whatnot. But yeah, I want to thank y'all for tuning in. Be on the lookout every Wednesday. We're dropping a video every Wednesday. Try to stay on track. Sometimes it's hard. Got the music promotion company. Also, don't forget to check out newlitter.com, the New Litter Apparel. Money Never Sleeps. New Litter Apparel. Also, we got the dog lover based t-shirts as well. IndieCastle.net. Check out promopalace.biz, planetplaylist.com. And I'm out.